welcome to Reviews That Scare with Jess and Blair. I'm Jess.
I'm Blair.
Blair, how are you?
I'm doing okay, man. And yourself?
I am doing very well. Thank you very much indeed. We ventured to the Lights Out event this past weekend at Dedmonton, our local haunted attraction. So our Halloween season has officially come to an end.
It's kind of sad.
Regretfully has come to an end. It's a sad realization, but we will prevail until next Halloween.
It's also kind of year round with us anyway.
Absolutely. I was going to say, until then, we'll just have to keep reviewing horror movies.
Yeah.
We're officially on to our second film of November, aka Prequels Month, and we have a fun one to talk about today. But before we do that, what do you say we chat a little bit about some horror news?
This is horror news.
Blairski, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, I got quite a lot this week, man. First off, Cineverse, the studio behind Terrifier 3, now have their eyes set on another Christmas-themed slasher. Jesse, I'm sure you've already heard about this.
Yeah.
They will be remaking Silent Night, Deadly Night, which is pretty awesome. I mean, Terrifier 3 was a massive success for them.
Yeah.
So why not keep the train going with the festive slashers?
I mean, let's be frank here. It's no Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
Oh, what a good movie. What a
but it's better than nothing.
Day.
Garbage Day. It's better than nothing, I suppose.
I'll take it. I'm excited to see what they come up with, and I'm sure it's going to be good in the worst way.
Probably. Yeah, really, really excited. No news on when or what the movie might actually be.
No.
But they own the rights now. So hopefully something comes of it.
Yeah, and they're good. They'll do something.
Yeah.
Next piece I have here, Paranormal Activity director Oren Peli has released his original list of names he considered before eventually landing on Paranormal Activity. And I wanted to share those with you, Jesse.
Please.
So the names included Haunted, The Ghost Tapes.
Okay.
Unseen.
Okay.
Dead of Night.
Okay.
File 257 Evidence.
Okay.
Captured. And finally, The Last Haunting. So I'm pretty sure we can both agree Paranormal Activity was probably the best choice.
Yeah, and I mean, it just think of how many, documentary shows. I mean, that whole kind of universe exploded after those movies came out.
Yeah,
just the idea of paranormal something,
Yeah.
So I think they made the right choice.
I totally agree with you, man. And I am excited. We are watching, I think, the third one this month.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. Yeah.
The last piece I do have written here, Jesse, I am sure you have this written down as well, but we lost a legend last week.
We did indeed.
Unfortunately, news came out of the passing of the Candyman himself, Tony Todd, who died at the age of 69, leaving the entire horror community in mourning, and us at Reviews at Scare definitely salute you and your work.
Salute you big time. Yeah, I mean, a resume with over 240 credits. I mean, he was in everything. Night of the Living Dead remake, 1990, Final Destination. And I've mentioned it a million times, but he did the voice of Venom in the newest Spider-Man video game, which is just, he's phenomenal. But
he was also a cameo
legend.
In a movie we just reviewed in Hellfest.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I mean, the guy is a legend. Yeah, absolutely. Those were my two pieces of horror news, was the passing of Tony Todd and Cineverse Studio acquiring the rights for Silent Night, Deadly Night. So thanks for putting in the work, Blair. That means that we can move right ahead to this week's episode. This week's movie, 2022's Orphan First Kill. Runtime on this one, 1 hour, 39 minutes. Blairski, initial thoughts on the runtime?
Runtime is fine. We'll talk about it. It seems long in parts.
Yeah, absolutely. It almost feels like two different movies.
Almost does, yeah.
But we'll talk about that later. Let's talk about some fun facts first.
Fun facts. Facts that are fun.
Blairski, you got some fun facts for Orphan First Kill?
Well, this movie was made a whopping 13 years after the original film.
Yeah.
And it was actually filmed in Winnipeg, Manitoba, making it a Canadian film, which is pretty
No
awesome.
way.
Yep,
Okay.
the whole
I didn't
thing,
know that.
Winnipeg,
Awesome.
Manitoba. Yeah,
Awesome.
not too much, I think, gets filmed in Winnipeg, so that is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you need a place to look like the frozen tundras of Russia or Estonia,
Yeah,
why not go to
Estonia.
Winnipeg? Why not go to Winnipeg in the dead of winter?
Right.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then lastly, as actor Isabel Furman is in no way a child in this movie.
Yeah, we'll get into that later as well.
Her scenes were filmed using a combination of makeup effects and forced perspective, basically camera work, to make her seem smaller than she actually was, and obviously makeup to seem younger. She also did have 2 female child actors as body doubles. So
body doubles, and you can definitely tell from a lot of the shots where her face isn't showing that it's clearly not her.
Yeah.
And again, we'll get into it in likes and dislikes, but I do applaud them for not using
CGI.
Yeah. Using kind of traditional film tricks with forced perspective, things like that. But
yeah, 100%.
She was Isabella Furman was 23 during the filming of the movie compared to 11 during the filming of the first film.
Night and day in appearance.
Again, we'll get into it. And then finally, the photo used for the missing girl, Esther, is of a young Isabel Furman.
Oh, okay, cool.
Really, really cool. Yeah, that
cool,
was
cool.
obviously even before the first Orphan.
Yeah.
But I thought that was really cool. I kind of thought, well, maybe it's her, because they really did a good job of at least getting a child who looked somewhat like her. And it was her. Okay, this one directed by William Brent Bell. Also directed 2012's The Devil Inside, 2016's The Boy, and will be directing the upcoming 3rd installment in the Orphan franchise, Orphan 3.
Mm-hmm.
This one written by David Cogsall, also wrote 63 episodes of the television show Desire, 65 episodes of Watch Over Me, 9 episodes of Scream, the TV series, and 2013's The Haunting in Connecticut 2, Ghost of Georgia. Also written by David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick. Also wrote 2016's The Conjuring 2, 2018's Aquaman, 2021's The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, and 14 episodes of the TV series The Walking Dead. Some massive credits on there.
No kidding.
Yeah. Also wrote the newest Aquaman movie as well, which I think came out last year or the year before.
Okay.
But yeah, massive credits. And then finally, Alex Mace also wrote the story for the original 2009's Orphan. This one starring Isabella Furman as Esther/Lena or Lena.
Yeah.
Also starred in 2021's The Hunger Games as Clove, the voice of Victoria in the 2012 video game Hitman Absolution. 2024's Horizon, an American Saga, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. That's that big Kevin Costner epic Western.
Oh, yeah.
As most of his movies are.
Yeah.
I sat through Horizon, an American Saga, Chapter 1.
Did you? I haven't seen either. I haven't. What's that other show he's in? Huge hit.
Yeah, Yellowstone.
Yellowstone. I haven't even seen that either.
Yeah, this. This, if nothing else, is his. It's his passion project.
Dancing with Wolves.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's either Western movies or baseball movies for him. But I'll tell you what movie he's not in. Orphan First Kill. So let's continue to chat about the fine people who worked on this one. Also, Isabella Furman is going to be returning for Orphan 3, which is great.
Okay, yeah.
This one, of course, starring 1990s, 2000s legend Julia Stiles as Trisha Albright. Also starred in 2019's Hustlers, 10 episodes of the TV series Dexter, starred in, I think, 3 or 4 movies in the Bourne Identity franchise
Okay.
as Nikki. She, of course, starred in 2001 Save the Last Dance.
Mm-hmm.
And in 1999's 10 Things I Hate About You.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she was everywhere in the 90s
She
or
was
early
huge.
2000s.
She was huge back then.
Absolutely. Yeah. Also starring Rossif Sutherland as Alan Albright, starred in 20 episodes of the TV series Rain, 11 episodes of ER, 3 episodes of The Handmaid's Tale, and 7 episodes of the TV series Murder in a Small Town. And then finally starring Matthew Finlan as Gunnar Albright, starred in 5 episodes of Ezra and 2024's All the Lost Ones. Synopsis for Orphan First Kill, courtesy of our dear friends at IMDb. After orchestrating a brilliant escape from an Estonian psychiatric facility, Esther travels to America by impersonating the missing daughter of a wealthy family.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's good enough for me.
Yeah. There is no mention of murder, of bloodshed. Sure. Okay, this leads to one of our favorite segments of the show, Kill Count.
Kill count. The time of the show we count the kills.
Blairski, do we have a kill count for Orphan First Kill?
Speaking of murder and bloodshed, eh?
Yeah.
You know what? We do have a kill count. We have a kill count of 7
Okay.
in this movie. They start off pretty hot and heavy.
Yeah.
Then they kind of die off and then they come back. Kind of at
the end of
the movie.
That's where I had mentioned, and I think this is a nice segue into our next segment of the show, likes and dislikes. Likes, dislikes, likes, dislikes, and everything in between. The portion of the show where we talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, and everything in between. We had already mentioned it kind of feels like almost 2 separate movies or even 3 separate movies where you have, the first segment where they're in Estonia at this psychiatric hospital.
Yeah.
And it's great. I love the opening of this movie. We get kills right off the bat that are very brutal.
Very brutal. Very bloody.
Very bloody, very hand to hand. And then there is a long duration of the movie where nothing violent happens.
No.
Or nothing, no deaths occur, which is fine. It's all about building the story. And instead of, deaths and murder in the kind of middle portion of the movie, we do get a nice little twist.
Yeah, we do. Which is
we'll
almost its own movie in itself again.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have the big finish for the movie. Now, the kills that did happen, what did you think of them?
I loved the kills in this movie, especially the first few, the one she made in the psych ward.
Yeah.
Also, the one she made at that first house.
Yeah.
I thought they were great. They were brutal. At the same time, kind of weak. I mean, she is killing full-grown adults, and she's supposed to be like 3 feet or something like that, like a very small, but to be honest, I didn't even really think about that until just now.
Yeah, it's I had mentioned to you earlier today that I liked the movie. I really liked Isabel's performance as Esther, but I was
distracted because she does not look like a 10-year-old.
Which, fair enough. I mean,
she's not. Yeah.
The movie came out, there was a 13-year gap between the movies. And although she looks young, I mean, she's 23 in this movie. She is not.
Doesn't look 10. She does not look
10 or 11 or 12, or she looks 23.
Yeah.
So I kind of found it a bit distracting. I also thought that they were using that forced perspective shot quite a lot in this movie. Just kind of really hammering home the whole idea of like, oh no, look how small she is. But then whenever they actually pan to her, it's like, yeah, but it just doesn't, I don't know. It felt, I don't know. I wasn't buying it for a second.
I would agree with that. I know this franchise is very near and dear to her. I mean, she was only, what, 10, 11 years old when she first played the lead role in this movie,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah,
growing up, obviously, it's a huge part of her life. And
absolutely.
so I kind of like that they brought her back to, play the role again.
Yeah.
But you're right, though. You notice it. You
I
notice it.
I'm wondering, and I feel like it maybe had something to do with the unanswered questions in the first film,
Mhm.
the need for a prequel. Like, was that the best option, or do you just build off of the first one? And now I haven't seen the first one, so
Mhm.
I don't kind of know where the movie leaves off as far as how do you build from that story. But I love a good prequel. And she was great in this movie. It
Mhm.
was just that forced perspective of constantly reminding of us, oh no,
She's
she's
supposed to
young.
be a
She's young.
10-year-old
Look,
girl.
look how
Yeah.
small she is. Yeah. And I wasn't really buying it after a while.
No, fair enough. I have seen the first one. I
Yeah.
don't remember the ending. I don't remember how it ended. I've only seen it the one time. I remember really liking it. And the other lead is Vera Farmiga from
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. From the
yeah,
Conjuring
from
universe.
The
Yeah.
Conjuring. She plays the mom and a husband that adopts her in the first one.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
great
Okay.
movie. Definitely check it out, Jesse, anytime.
I mean, if nothing else, the premise of this movie and the premise of I imagine the first one, it's a great premise. And
Similar things happen in real life, man.
I was just going to say, I feel like I've read stories where this has happened,
Mm-hmm.
which is super creepy, super awful. It makes you feel so bad for these poor families who have lost their children and then are being, violated by complete strangers.
So what I'm about to tell you, I'm kind of just going off my memory, so don't definitely quote me on it because I'm not
Sure.
reading off anything. But when I was doing my
This is
research,
verbatim. Blair Moore's verbatim. Yeah.
So when I was doing my research for this, I read that kind of the idea to do a prequel and bring the series back was, I think it was in 2019. There was a couple in the States who had a daughter with dwarfism. The daughter was a child, but apparently, after watching the first Orphan movie, the parents got the idea to change their daughter's age, legally change their daughter's age to an adult, and basically had her taken away.
People are strange.
And
People
yeah, and I
are
think
strange.
that they kind of found out about that story and got the idea, well, hey, let's make another one.
Man, oh man, oh man. I mean, people are strange. And I
Yeah,
mean, Hollywood, I mean, if you could make a buck off of a sad story, they'll do it.
they will. They will do it. And again, I don't know how much of that is true or even correct from what I read. That's just based off memory, but I did read something similar to that.
Well, if you read it on the internet, Blair, then it must be true.
Yeah.
Back to the beginning of this movie, I really liked it. I thought it set the tone for the rest of the movie.
Mhm.
It started off with a bang. You're immediately introduced to this character. Not a whole lot of her backstory is told at that point,
Not
but
yet. No.
you know that she is not a nice person.
The first time you see her, she's holding a pencil, a sharpened pencil, in a very threatening way.
Yeah, she is clutching this thing like she's going to go to work with it.
Mhm.
It's wild, and that is, I mean, it just goes back to the acting. Although I've kind of already shit on the forced perspective and the Isabella Furman looking maybe not 11 or 12 years old. I thought the acting in this was really good.
She was great. Julia Stiles was great.
Julia Stiles was fantastic.
She's so
Joseph
good.
Sutherland, even the father, I thought he
Yeah.
was really, really good as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the acting was good.
Yeah, at the same point, I'm shitting on her for, well, she didn't look 12. At the same time, she also didn't look 31,
No. She
which is what her character, it's
she didn't look like an old lady or like anything like that, or look old even at all. But she just didn't look like a child, is what it was. What it came
her
down to.
performance was great, maybe just a little bit distracting and not necessarily her fault.
Man, I found this movie so cringy. Just the fact, well, just like more of the fact of her relationship with the dad.
Yeah.
And very cringy. And I just how the dad does not realize that this is not his daughter.
Something to, or even just he doesn't, there's no red flags for him at all throughout the movie. Like nothing is really, he's just chalking it up with, well, she's been away for a while and she's, experienced some very horrifying things. She's dealing with trauma right now, and I'm just going to be that supportive father. But it's like, man, there's no red flags.
Yeah. Like, come on, bro.
The Russian accent doesn't disappear.
Right.
And
it's not and I get maybe having a Russian accent stuck with you after all that time, but not that strong. Not that strong.
Yeah, it's coming on thick for sure.
Very thick, man.
Yeah. Okay, we had briefly mentioned it, and we don't want to give too much away, just because this movie is still relatively new.
It is.
But there's a twist, and it's kind of interesting because the twist doesn't happen at the end, where there's usually the twist ending in horror movies. It happens right in the middle of the movie.
Halfway through, you find out about the twist, yeah.
Now, I don't want to give too much away about the twist, but I just kind of want to get your reaction to it. What do you feel about it? Did you like it? Did you not like it?
I'm more on the fence of not liking it, but this is why, just because I have seen the original one and there's no twist. It's straight up, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's Esther being Esther. That's
Esther
it.
being Esther.
Yeah. And I enjoyed that more. Just having seen both of them, I just enjoyed that straight up Esther being Esther over this kind of twist that I could care less about, really. And I also didn't really understand the twist.
I thought at first I liked the twist, but then as the movie went on, if nothing else, it made me like the character or root for the character Esther even more.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
But yeah, as the movie went on, I thought it was a little bit of a distraction, the twist. And I also got a little bit confused because the explanation of the twist was very surface level.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't really dive too deep into it. Was this is why this happened? This is why this happened. We're leaving it at that. But it's like, there was clearly an accident, but what was the accident? All this stuff. And I mean, for all we know, that could have added on an extra half an hour to this movie, which didn't need to happen.
Maybe it's stuff that was filmed and just not edited in. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
I really liked that it was more so like a psychological thriller. I love a good psychological thriller.
Definitely for the last half of the movie, for sure. As I mentioned before, at the beginning of the movie started off really hot and heavy with the slasher aspect. There's a lot of violence and a lot of kills. But yeah, it kind of transformed into a psychological thriller.
100%. And I think where we were coming off is like, it feels like 2 different movies or 3 different movies. Maybe that's just like a movie not really knowing what it is.
Or what direction it wants to go.
And that kind of bothers me. I love movies that know, even bad movies that know exactly what they are, and they don't try and hide it, or they don't try and pull the wool over the audience's eyes. It's just, here it is in all of its glory. Some will like it, some won't.
Yeah.
And this one's kind of a little bit of a gray area.
It is. And I'm curious to see what they do with the third one.
Me too. Now that I've seen this one, I really want to see the first one. And I'm, really excited for the third one.
Yeah, man. Me too.
I don't have anything else I liked or didn't like or in between. Anything else you wanted to mention about this one?
No worry. We can move on, my brother.
Let's move along to our next segment of the show. The lessons we learned from watching 2022's Orphan First Kill.
Lessons we learned from watching. Insert title of movie here.
The segment of the show where we talk about the valuable life lessons we learned from watching said movie. Blairski.
Yes.
Did you learn anything watching Orphan First Kill?
I did. And I'm just going to say right now, we were just talking about the twist in this movie.
Yeah.
And how we're not going to spoil the movie. Well, I'm saying right now I'm about to spoil that twist. So spoiler alert, if you have not seen this movie,
turn it off for the next
2 minutes.
15 seconds.
Yeah. Or not even, 30 seconds. So don't kill your daughter.
Yep.
Secondly, don't kill your daughter and then replace her with an adult daughter.
Yep.
Pretending to be a child just to make your grieving husband happy.
Don't do it.
Don't do that. And lastly, all macaws are parrots, and not all parrots are macaws.
Yeah, that's what I had as well. Bird lesson of the day.
Bird lesson of the
Bird
day.
lesson of the day. All macaws are parrots, but not all parrots are macaws.
Very true statement.
As somebody who is not an ornithologist, this is news to me.
Not to me.
Not you. This is something that you are well versed in.
I just
The
know
life
that
of birds.
I know a macaw is a parrot, but a parrot is not a macaw. That's all I know.
Blairski, I will take your word for it. I learned something here. Do not ignore protocol, especially if you find yourself employed at a psychiatric hospital for the criminally insane and it is your first day.
Yeah. What an idiot.
Protocols are there for a reason. Follow the rules. Yeah. Simple as that. That's what I got. Let's move along to our next segment of the show, Line of the Night.
Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night.
The segment of the show where we discuss our favorite lines from the movie. They might give us chills. They might give us the giggles. All we know is that they are our favorites. Blairski. Line of the night? Have one?
Man, I only got one.
Okay.
I only got one. Oh, Anna, I'm sorry. It usually only takes one blow. Which is such a great line. And he says it to his victim after trying to her victim after trying to deliver a fatal blow to the head that does not kill the victim
Within the first 15, 20 minutes of the movie.
It's right when she escapes from the psych ward. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I've got two here, both from Trisha, the mother. She says, so let me get this straight. You're a grown-ass woman and a wanted criminal. That is beyond fucked up.
Yeah.
It is indeed.
It is indeed.
And then finally, this family came over on the fucking Mayflower and built this country. We matter. Good for you.
Yeah, good for you.
Good for you. That's what I have for Line of the Night. This brings us to our final segment of the show. Some might even go as far as saying it's our favorite segment of the show.
Some might.
Some might. We're still on the fence about it.
Yeah, thinking about it.
Celebrity lookalike time.
Celebrity lookalike time.
The time of the show where we take a look at the cast and discuss their celebrity doppelgangers. Spoiler alert, it usually comes down to the character's hairstyle. Blairski.
Yeah.
What do you got for celebrity lookalike time?
Oh man, mine are so out there. Alan Albright, the father, kind of reminded me a little bit of John Krasinski from A Quiet Place.
Okay.
He's also in The Office, but more from The Quiet Place because he's got the beard.
Okay.
And then Detective Donnan, I think that was his name, the detective in the movie.
Yep.
He reminded me a little bit of Joe Haslam, who plays Sub-Zero in the new Mortal Kombat movie.
Ooh, fun movie.
Great movie.
Fun movie. Yeah.
Great movie, yes.
I've got one here, and I've used the celebrity lookalike time before, but it's been a while since we've talked about this legend. So I thought Dr. Novotny, who's the doctor at the beginning, kind of runs the psychiatric hospital, reminded me of one of our favorites, Captain Spaulding, a.k.a. Sid Haig.
Yeah.
The man, the myth,
the legend,
the murderous clown.
Yeah, that too.
Okay, this leads us to our final rating for 2022's Orphan First Kill. Blairski. Out of 5 31-year-old orphans just wanting a normal life filled with painting, piano playing, and falling in love with a married man, what are you giving Orphan First Kill?
I was kind of back and forth with this one, but I'm going to give it 2.5. 31-year-old orphans just wanting a normal life filled with painting, piano playing, and falling in love with a married man out of 5.
Yeah, I agree. 2.5 31-year-old orphans just wanting a normal life filled with painting, piano playing, and falling in love with a married man out of 5. I really, really wanted to like this movie, and there are a lot of things that I did like about it. The premise alone, but I just found myself, I kept getting distracted.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. And for me, it's just I have seen the first one, and it's just a much better movie. Stick with that formula, and they're good.
I'm going to check it out. I'm going to do it.
The only thing I did like better, I'll say this now, about the prequel, the kills were better.
Okay.
But you have to think when she was only 11 years old killing people in the first movie, so they probably kept the blood and gore to a minimum.
Right. Well,
You know
that makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense. This was a fun one to watch. And look at that. Boom. We're already halfway down the month. And our next movie, our next review is our watch party.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it.
It's going to be a fun movie. It's Final Destination 5, right?
Final Destination 5. Tune in. Blairski will have more information on that later this week, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll post up dates and times.
Yeah, join us for it. Why don't you? But until then, this has been Review Set Scare with Jess and Blair. I'm Jess.
I'm Blair. Remember to stay scary.
And eat every sandwich. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening to Review Set Scare. Make sure you check out our Linktree at linktree/reviewsetscare. That's linktr.ee/reviewsetscare, which has links to our Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, Twitch, and many other things. If you'd like to email us, you can reach us at reviewsetscare@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and remember to stay scary and eat every sandwich.